The nurse, she said, take off all your clothes and put on this gown. I was like,
excuse me, pardon, hello.
And this was my first time in the ER here in the US. Getting medical bills for the first time. As a tourist, I would never go to the doctor here if I didn't have to. Hello amigos, and welcome to today's video. Since I got here on October 20th, my body has sucked. But that's basically it. That's the whole video. Bye. No, but today guys, I'm gonna tell you a story time of my experience as a person who grew up in Europe, as a European, coming to the US and using their lovely healthcare system. I wanna tell you guys my whole story of me going to the ER, going to the hospital, going to the doctor, getting tests, getting medical bills for the first time. Actually no, it's not the first time, but getting medical bills for the first time from the ER in the US. Let me just tell you, it's way different than how it is in Europe. This is a long story time. Grab your popcorns. I'm not gonna have you guys wait anymore. So let's begin. When I got here, I was fine. You guys saw the vlog, and if you guys been following me on Instagram, you've seen that when I got here, I started jump roping straight away. Like, I jump rope all the time. I jump rope 4 to 5 times each week. Like, it's nothing out of the ordinary. I've been doing that for a year now, and I am usually very energetic, so that's what I did for those first 2 weeks here, or you know, from October 20th to November 1st, I jumped rope almost every day. But I started to notice that no matter how much I ate, I was still hungry. Like, I would eat food, I wouldn't feel any like fullness in my body. I wouldn't feel satiated at all. Last year when I got amoeba, that was exactly how I felt once I was getting better from it, where I was like not satiated at all, no matter how much I ate. That was just so weird to me, but I just brushed it off as like, I don't know, maybe it's because of jet lag or whatever. On November 1st, I was like, maybe I should see a doctor, because for the past few days before that, I've been going to the bathroom a lot. Like, it was 49 times a day. It was very tiring, because if you guys, I'm sure many of you guys have gone through it, where you have to go to the bathroom a lot. And also, I had a lot of stomach pain on my lower right side, which I was googling and everything said I was gonna die, you know, obviously. So that's that's why you never Google, kids, of your symptoms. But you know, obviously none of us listen to that advice. We all give that advice, but we never listen to it. So of course I went on Google and it said appendicitis, and so I was thinking, maybe I've never had that before. So it's like, oh, I don't know. My mom was like, let's go to the doctor. And so we went into the walk-in clinics, because I don't have a primary doctor here. Now, mind you, I do have a travel insurance, and I'm gonna shout them out, guys, because without them I would have been dead financially. So Gouda is the travel insurance I've been using. They have been a lifesaver, so I'm just saying, check them out. I will leave them in the description box. If you need a travel insurance, you need them. I was very confident in going to the walk-in clinic. I didn't think about bills or anything, because I'm fully covered by Gouda. So I just want you guys to have that in mind. That's why we were so loosey-goosey about going to the doctor, because usually in the US, if you want to go to the doctor, especially if you're a tourist, I'm gonna talk from a tourist standpoint, guys, even though I know how it's like to be living here, because my parents live here. But as a tourist, I would never go to the doctor here if I didn't have to. Like, if I wasn't dying or something, because going to the doctor here without insurance, guys, it's not fun. It's you will suffer financially. It was my first time there, and the thing is, here when you go to the walk-in clinic, they will take so much information from you. You feel like you've shared your whole life story or something, because it's for insurance and stuff like that, and for their medical records. I got a PA, a physician's assistant. So here's another thing that really confused me, because in Denmark, I would always just get a doctor, and never a PA, an NP, or anything like that. And to me, when I first found out I was gonna I wouldn't get like a doctor. I was like, oh my god, I'm not even gonna get a doctor. If you grew up in Denmark, then I'm sure you understand. But to my surprise, NPs and PAs are just as good as the doctors basically. So anyways, I went there, told him all of my symptoms, and he had me do a urine test straight away. And I was like, I don't have a... This was so funny though, because it was like, so does it hurt when you pee? Do you have to pee a lot? And I was like, what the heck? There's nothing wrong with my pee. And I was like, there's I don't have any issues there. He said, oh, that's interesting, because in the results they got them straight away. Apparently I had a UTI, but he wasn't sure. Like the test result pointed to that direction. Until the culture came back, they couldn't really be for sure. He was like, yeah, it's probably that, so I'm gonna prescribe you with antibiotics. And I've been to the doctor here before, guys, for ear infections, and they give you antibiotics so fast here. It's as if it's candy. That's the first thing they will try to give to you as soon as you go to the doctor. I feel like it's like a band-aid, you know. But also in a way, antibiotics do help a lot if you need it. It will save your life if you need it, but you don't always need antibiotics. But anyways, because I was telling him about my stomach issues, obviously that's not UTI related, and the bathroom issues, he was like, that's probably a stomach flu or stomach virus, you know, it's probably a stomach virus. So for that, you just need to keep hydrated, drink Gatorade. When he said that, I was kind of bummed, because actually a few days before this, my mom had to go to the ER for stomach pains, and she had really bad stomach pains, and we were all thinking maybe she infected me with whatever she had. But my symptoms were way different than hers, so in my mind I was like, I don't think so, but that's what the PA thought. But he was very nice. He listened to my issues, and then he did a stomach exam where he pushed around my stomach to see if I had any pain, and I was only sensitive to the touches he did, especially in the lower area in my stomach. It wasn't like ouch pain, so he wasn't worried about that. He listened to my heart, everything. So he prescribed me with macrobid antibiotics, which was very fun. It gave me so many stomach issues, guys. My stomach issues got worse. I had to go to the bathroom even more. It made me extremely sleepy. I was sleeping the whole day, and I would have to take this for the next 5 days. And for the next 5 days, guys, it was hell. Everything got worse, you know. I got dizzy and really dizzy, really nauseous, and I was brushing it off as side effects from antibiotics. And after a day or two, or was it the same day actually, I got a phone call from the walk-in clinic, and I was like, finally some results, you know. The urine culture came back negative. Surprise, surprise, I did not have a UTI, which I already knew, because I've never actually had a UTI, but I've had similar things to UTIs, and I know what it feels like when it's issues down there, you know. And I was like, it's not that. And I knew it, you know. So it was a wrong diagnosis. I was taking antibiotics for something I didn't have. Until November the 7th, I just pushed through the pain, basically. I was so dehydrated, guys. At this point, I had this emoji, and this emoji, and then water emoji. For 3 weeks, just so I don't have to say exactly what. I hope you guys can understand what I mean. Very dehydrated for 3 weeks. Like, the pain I had was in the lower belly, lower quadrant, as they say in Grey's Anatomy. My headache was getting worse, nausea was getting worse. I was so dizzy I could barely stand up. Everything, all of my senses got really sensitive. Like, the lights, the sounds, everything. My mom was worried enough, so we went to the ER, and this was my first time in the ER here in the US, and let me tell you, it's an experience. When I got there, I was low-key excited. This is legit, I'm at the ER, and I wasn't worried about medical bills again, because I am
Sponsored by Gouda.
Not sponsored. I'm not
Sponsored by Gouda.
but I was
Sponsored by Gouda.
You go to this lobby and they take all of your information, ask you about insurance. This was the first time.
For me, in the Marvel universe.
I'm sorry. And I was low-key excited because it was like Grey's Anatomy, House, everything, all of the good shows. ER was my favorite show growing up. I was like, what? And oh my god, I got my own room. And I felt presidential because in TV shows you usually go into these booths, not into your own room. And I felt very special. But we do live in, I don't live here, but we are in a small town, and so maybe that's why, because there's more space. I don't know. They gave me an IV straight away and had me do a urine test straight away. And basically there was a lot of bites during this whole experience. Is all bites. The IV guys, they couldn't get it into me because I was so dehydrated. They could not find my veins. They kept on poking, they couldn't find it, but eventually they did get it into me. I was there for like 4 hours, I think. They took my blood, and then a doctor, like, it was so much things happening, and I'm very confused on what happened. Good thing I wrote everything down in my little journal. My BP guys, BPM actually, was at 90 to 110 the whole time, and that's quite fast because usually your resting heart rate is at like 70 or something. Mine was 90 to 110, and it was often above 100 the whole time because I was so freaking nervous. But not only that, because it was also because I was so tired. I was in so much pain. The doctor came in, it was a girl, which made me really happy because they had me naked, guys. Like they were like, when I got into there, the girl was like, the nurse, she said, take off all your clothes and put on this gown. I was like,
Excuse? Pardon? Hello?
I'm not used to that. Usually you get to keep your clothes. When I was in Denmark and in the Philippines, I never had to put on a gown. But she was like, you can wear your underwear. I was like, thank God. And I was like, even my pants? I have to remove my pants? She's like, yes. They put me in this really comfy bed and warm blanket. She freaking removed my blanket straight away and lifted my dress, and she could see my underwear. So she exposed my stomach and she pushed on it all over the place, like deeper than at the when the PA did it, but not deep enough, I don't feel like. Pushed around, and I said some areas were painful, but she wasn't really worried about it. I feel like she was just trying to rule out appendix, so she did the appendix test, I call it. Within the lower right stomach, you push like really deep and then you release fast, and if you scream in pain when they release, basically it's appendicitis. That's what they do, and I didn't. So she was like, it's not that. Everyone were very nice and everything, but I didn't get the diagnosis. She said she would run the tests, and if anything came back abnormal, she would call me. I did feel stronger because of the IV, because I was really dehydrated, but that's all, you know. They were like, yeah, nothing's wrong, go home. So, you know, that was weird because I got so used to, in the Philippines, they didn't let me go home until they figured out what was wrong, especially if I looked pale and crazy looking, which I did when I went to the ER. But people here are more pale than me, so I didn't look pale. You know, I got home and days went by and I got worse. And this is when things got very bad, like really bad. I could not stand up for more than 5 minutes without getting really dizzy. And when I say dizzy, I mean the whole room started spinning really fast, and I had to sit down. And I felt like I was gonna pass out every 5 seconds. It started to become really painful in my stomach, where I had a hard time sleeping. And it was upper right now, upper right quadrant and lower right quadrant. I feel so fancy saying that. So it was sharp pain now. It was starting to become sharp pain, which was what they all were asking me. All of the doctors, like, is it sharp? And I would be saying no. So I feel like maybe that was something they were looking for. So once I was starting to feel sharp pain, I was like, oh, this means something, because that's what they keep on asking me. Also, it started to radiate. The pain was like lower right, but it was going to the left, and then upper right stomach, but it was going to the left. It was like really weird. And also ever since I was 14, I've been having upper left stomach pains under my rib every time I would eat fatty food, and my mom and I would brush it off as gallbladder issues, because my mom had gallbladder issues when she was around 20 or something. At this time, I lived off Gatorade, water, gluten-free bread, hummus, yogurt, sauerkraut, smoothies, salty chips, and a little bit of candy. That was my diet plan. Basically, I was vegan. I couldn't eat anything else because I was so nauseous. At the end of the ER visit, by the way, they gave me this kit for bajs. I'm gonna say it in Swedish, so hopefully this video doesn't, you know, nothing happens to this video. But I had to get this thing tested, and I don't know if you guys have ever tried doing that. It's at home. They give you test to do at home. They give you freaking Tupperwares and these testing bottles with liquid in them, which were like red liquid, and you know, and an envelope. I can't really tell you guys what happened in specifics, but basically when I had to do this, they also give you a freaking hat. It's not the hat for your head, it's a hat for the banyo. And yeah, let's just say, you can look it up if you want. I would not recommend it. It's very traumatizing, and I threw up because I was so disgusted by myself. Trauma for life. Let me just say, I could not eat chocolate for a long time after this. They had us go to the lab to, you know, give them this products. I sent Gouda, the insurance, all of these scary bills, and let me just say, these bills, guys, I'm looking at them right now, like, it was not nice. I haven't even gotten all of the bills for it yet, but it's the ER bills are supposed to be around $5,000. The time went on. It was November 10. The amount of nausea I had at this point was like nauseating. I was going to the bathroom even more at this point, and the cramps were getting worse, headaches, dizziness. Like, it really was not good anymore. I could barely eat at this point, and my mom wanted me to go to the ER again, but I was too embarrassed to go back to the ER, because honestly I was so embarrassed because they didn't find anything, and it felt like I was wasting their time. She was insisting. I was like, maybe we should go to the walk-in, but she was like, no, ER. And on our way to the ER, I was holding on to a plastic bag because it felt like I was gonna throw up or pass out. And you know, last year when I got the amoeba, it was really scary. Obviously that was on a whole other level. That was way more painful than this. But when that happened, I got diagnosed straight away. Like, the next day they got the results and they knew straight away what was wrong. So yeah, we went into the ER, same procedure. They gave me this bed, same bed actually as the last time. This time though, I got a male doctor, and I don't mind male doctors at all. The first PA I got was really nice, but this doctor, I feel like if you're a girl, I mean, I feel like we're all we all have very, you know, we all feel the same when it comes to this, or similar. I would obviously feel more comfortable if it was a woman, because it was stomach issues. I didn't want him to, you know, see my stomach. But anyway, I feel like he barely listened to me. He was one of those ER doctors who he brushed it all off. When I was telling him all of my pains, it was this, he was like, you know, it wasn't really, I feel like he didn't really care that much. He pushed on my stomach, but barely, and so I didn't really feel that much pain from it. You have to push quite deep, guys, to get to the point where you have to go to feel the pain, you know. You can't just push like that, because I mean, especially girls, I feel like we're way stronger than guys when it comes to stomach pain, because obviously we get pregnant and we get, you know, a period every month. which hurts a ton. So we're kind of used to it, you know. And he brushed it off as maybe a virus. But guys, at this point, I've been having this for like 4 weeks. It's not normal to go to the bathroom that much for 4 weeks. Usually when it's viral, it's not this long, you know. It's usually for a week. And then he said, I'm gonna have them take your blood, and if I feel like you need it, I'll give you an IV. And I was like, what the heck? I've been going to the bathroom like so much and he won't give me an IV straight away. It was so weird. But he did give me anti-nausea in the IV, I think, to shut me up. But you know, there was a nurse and a student nurse who came in, and the student nurse, he was so sweet. Nurse couldn't get my blood because I was so dehydrated, and my veins are also quite small to begin with, so they have a really hard time always finding it, and they had to use like a warm compress to put on my the inside of my elbow. What do you call this area? I don't know. To warm me up. I was so cold, and the nurse could feel I was freezing. She held the other hand to comfort me, and it was freezing. The nurses, guys, I got to say, I've met so many doctors and nurses during all of this, and the nurses are the heroes. Obviously doctors too, but the nurses are just, they are just so sweet. They treat the patients as humans, I feel like. Meanwhile, the doctors sometimes look at you like a test subject or something, I don't know. They finally did get my IV, and it was quite painful. They kept on poking me so much. But at this point, I'm kind of used to it by now because of last year, so I was fine, I didn't mind. One of the nurses came in and was like, we need more of this. The bice. And I was thinking, what? I was thinking I could not do that again. And he put the hat in the bathroom. You get your own bathroom in all of these rooms, which is quite cool. And it was like, yeah, you know, just go in there when you need to, and you know, produce stuff for us, because we need more bice to play in. He said exactly those words. I couldn't produce this because, guys, when I get nervous, I can't do that, and especially outside. I'm sure a lot of you guys are like that, but the doctor, the male doctor I got, who wasn't the nicest, he was like, I don't think it's that bad, because if you can't produce this for us, that means it's not that bad. Because usually when I get patients and they have this stomach issue, they produce a lot of this for us. I wanted to cry at this point, and he was comparing me to other patients who had it worse. Obviously, there's always gonna be patients who have it worse than you. You're never gonna be the worst case, you know, never, because there's always gonna be somebody worse, you know. I told him I can't even function. I'm usually very active and energetic. Like, this is so not me to not be able to run around the house all day. And he checked the results for the first, you know, fun EBS test I took, and because we still hadn't gotten the results at this point, and so he was able to check it for us. And apparently the Shinga toxins were negative, and that's the only thing he really worried about. And the other results hadn't got back yet, so at this point we weren't sure if there was something wrong. But he did prescribe me with anti-toilet. So, you know, that was great. But they discharged me without any diagnosis, you know. And I told the nurse, I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm not getting better. It's not like I can live like this. But she was very apologetic and sad, you know, for me, but there was nothing they could do. So I had to go home again without any answers. At this point, I was getting really frustrated. I was comparing how it was in the Philippines, where I got the results so fast, because in the Philippines, as long as you can pay for it, you will get answers medically, you know, medical answers and stuff, quite fast. So when I went to the doctor in the Philippines, I got the answers really, really quickly, and I got treated really quickly. In Denmark, whenever I was like super sick, I would get help straight away, you know. And in Denmark, it depends on which doctor you have. If you have a good doctor, the doctor I have now is really amazing, and I know if I would have gone to him with all of these issues, I would have gotten more help. But obviously here you can't do that. And I think also I was suspecting it was also because I am a tourist, and they were having issues with me being a tourist, like with the records and everything. You know, the insurance I have is a travel insurance, and because we're in a small town, they're not really that great at understanding how to do all of this. I'm getting dizzy, guys. I was frustrated because I was comparing it to how it would have been if I was in Denmark, but at this point we started to get a bit desperate, and I started just taking my mom's meds. Because my mom, when she went to the ER, she got a freaking CT scan, she got like blood tests, like they made sure to really check her out properly. I think mostly because she is type 2 diabetic, so they were more cautious when it came to her. And maybe she also got a better doctor because they gave her all of the tests. And when the doctor pushed on her stomach, she did feel pain in the middle of her stomach, upper middle. You know, she's also way better at explaining her pain than me. The thing with me, guys, is I hide my pain. I'm like a prey. Like, I hide my pain. If you ask me if I'm in pain, I'm gonna say no. When I feel dizzy, like even like right now, I try to not show it, because I don't know why. I've never been the type to really show my pain, and so even at doctors I have a hard time explaining. I don't blame them with that, that it's hard to, you know, look at me and see that, oh, she's sick. But I was explaining my pain, but that wasn't enough. You have to like show your pain. And my family members were like, you have to over exaggerate a little bit. And even on Instagram, people were telling me to over exaggerate. And I was like, over exaggerate? What do you mean? And they're like, you know, when you go to the ER, cry a little bit, scream a little bit, maybe faint. You know, I was like, what? And you know, in Denmark and Sweden, you're taught not to be over dramatic. So I started taking my mom's meds instead, because she got meds. At this point, guys, the only thing I got was the anti-toilet. So I took Zofran for the nausea before every meal, and it made me so sleepy, gave me the worst eye pain. It gave me so much eye pain and blurry vision. At this point I was like, I don't know if it's worth it anymore to take it. I was like, I'm just gonna fight off the nausea on my own. I started to have a lot of pain on my lower left and right abdomen now. It was mostly after I ate. So now at this point I was like, I'm connecting it to food, because every time I would eat food, even if it was just a banana or something small, I would get really bad stomach aches and cramps and sharp pains, and the dizziness would get worse after I would eat food. And it didn't matter what I ate, so it's not because of something specific. So I was thinking maybe it's something with my digestion, something with my stomach. We were still thinking it was something with my gallbladder, because my mom had very similar symptoms. So now we're at November 16, and I got all of the results of this back, negative for everything. I was crying, you know, after the second visit to the ER. I was crying because I felt so dumb. I felt like I had wasted everyone's time, including the doctors, including my family, including my own. I was like, Maria, you need to snap out of it and just, you know, get back to regular life. You need to just start, you know, doing everything you like you usually do, because you're obviously not sick. I felt like I was getting gaslighted, you know, by my own body. My travel insurance is so good. Gouda has been so good because they have doctors connected to the insurance in Denmark. And I was talking to one of their doctors who became my doctor. Shout out to that doctor. He was so nice, so incredible. He suggested maybe getting a CT scan. And so I told the doctor at the ER that maybe I should be getting a CT scan. And he was like, no, you don't need that kind of radiation. So it's like, I felt so hopeless because I was suggesting things, and I know doctors don't like it when you suggest stuff like this, but I was so hopeless. Like, what the heck do I do? So on November 16th, we decided to go to the walk-in clinic again, because I was thinking, like, we were thinking maybe they would listen more than going to the ER, because at the ER they are more, it's more for emergencies. Even though this felt like an emergency, I wasn't dying, I wasn't bleeding, I wasn't fainting, you know. This time I got an NP, which is a nurse practitioner, and it was a girl, and I was so happy about that. It was so nice, guys. She knew about Filipino food and adobo because she lived in Las Vegas, and there's a lot of Filipinos in Las Vegas, and she made me feel so comfortable. And she checked my stomach too. She was pushing around my stomach, and she was way better at knowing where to push exactly, because you can't just push anywhere in your stomach and be like, oh yeah, there's something there. She was so reassuring. Oh, that's the word I'm thinking about. She was so much more reassuring than all of the other ones. I asked her if it could be gallbladder, and she was so amazing. She was like, yes, it could be gallbladder since you have it in your family. She wanted to check if my pancreas was okay, appendix, gallbladder. Finally had a test. I wanted to do some tests, you know, especially since at this point, guys, it had been way too long at this point of me suffering and not knowing what was wrong. She booked me for an ultrasound, which sounded very Grey's Anatomy, and basically stat ultrasound means you will get it straight away. And so she also booked for blood tests, which I had to do the day after. And so she had me go into the hospital because the walk-in clinic is right next to the hospital. So she had me go into the hospital straight away, and they did the ultrasound, and I was kind of hoping I would see any of the ER doctors there, just to be like, hey, see, I got the test, you know. But obviously I didn't. But anyways, I got in, and I got to say, that ultrasound, that was my first time getting an ultrasound, and they had me lay down in this dark room, and she had me remove my sweater. I was only wearing my t-shirt. She had me lay down. She pulled up my t-shirt like straight away, and then she put these towels under my t-shirt so it would be like upwards, and so it doesn't get dirty with the gel. And she put it like under my pants too. And let me just say, she pulled my pants down a little bit too, and it was so awkward for me because I was like so exposed. And she put the gel on me, which by the way was really hot. I know in movies they're always like, it's gonna be a bit cold, you know, right? No, it was really hot. And so she put the ultrasound gel on, then she put the machine thing on. She had, it was quite long, like 20 minutes. She searched through everything, focusing mostly on my upper right, a bit in my middle, and then on my lower back. She had me like, breathe in, stop breathing, breathe, breathe in, stop breathing, breathe. It wasn't that bad. It was a bit painful, honestly, because she was pushing at the points where it was hurting, but it wasn't that bad. It was a bit uncomfortable, quite awkward. And then she had me lay on my side, and I don't know, I didn't like it, but you know. Then she told me, now we wait for the result. November 17th, which was the next day, call back with the results. When they called back with the results, I was thinking, oh my god, there's something bad. Because when they call back, at least here in the US, when they call you back, if you go to the doctor and they call you back, you know you're basically dying. No, not really, but you know there's something off, because they don't call back. If everything is negative, they don't call you back. And I had to find this out the hard way, because we would call them back like, hello, where's my result? And they were like, it's negative. And they said on November 17th that I had a cyst on my liver. When they told me this, I was like, what? After a few seconds, she was like, oh, and it's benign. And so they weren't worried about it. But I got blood tests done for amylase and lipase and CBC and CMP. At this point, I was like, I wasn't even sure like how to take this information, because they didn't, because I don't have, this is the issues, guys, because I don't have a primary doctor here. I don't have like a main person to go to, a main doctor to go to ask my questions to. I don't have somebody to look over all of my files and be like, I wonder what's wrong. Because often if you have a primary doctor, they're the ones who are gonna look over all of your tests and be like, be more detailed. It's gonna be easier for them to figure out what's wrong. And like for Mama, she has her own doctor here, and she's always like checking up on her. Oh, what's wrong now, and how are you now, and how's this going, and how's that going? And you know, I didn't have that, so I felt very, you know, when it comes to medical stuff, I felt very isolated. Weird to get like a diagnosis like that and then not get any information. It's benign, but still, like you wanna know, like, so, you know, is that why I've been feeling this way? There was no explanation. And obviously I went to Google to research and found out only 5% of the population have liver cysts, like this liver cyst. I felt special, you know. And apparently out of those 5%, only 5% have symptoms. So then it was extra special because I had symptoms, you know. And I was kind of happy to finally have a diagnosis, but also that freaked me out, because when you think cyst, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die or something. November 19th came along and the blood test came back normal. My head was hurting so much at this point. If my nose is getting more and more red throughout this video, it's not because I'm crying. It's my nose is very itchy. I don't know why. I emailed Gouda, my travel insurance, on what the heck do I do now, because everything came back normal except for the cyst. My doctor through the travel insurance was saying that my symptoms could be due to the cyst. Even if it's small, it could be pushing at the right spot, which if the cyst is on the lower part of your right part of your liver, it could very well be gallbladder issues, because it could be pushing on the gallbladder in a certain way, and so the flow of everything wasn't going in the right direction or whatever. So we went back to the walk-in clinic. At this point, the receptionist knew my name, and we decided that my mom, because during all of this, because of COVID, you're not allowed to bring in family into the rooms. But because they all thought I was a minor, like when we went to the labs for my blood test, they thought I was minor and they were looking for my guardian, for my parents, you know. And I was like, I'm 27. So we were taking advantage of that, and I just had my mom follow me behind me so she could come with me into the room for extra support, because I wanted a witness also, in a way. It was my mom's idea, but you know, I was glad about this because I wanted a witness, because they kept on brushing it off as nothing, you know. And my mom was so good. Obviously she's very good at all of this. She's good at, you know, pushing to get results, and I definitely needed her there, because I'm not the type to push. I'm not the type to talk a lot. I just say what I have to say, not more than that. And the NP I got, she was nice, but she was more on the strict side, but she was nice. And so she was thinking it could be pancreas, maybe liver, maybe appendix, maybe gallbladder, you know. My mom was like, maybe she could get a CT scan. The NP said yes to the CT scan. And it wasn't that easy, guys, because in the beginning my mom was like, her doctor in Denmark suggested a CT scan. The nurse said,
is she gonna order that?
So a bit sassy, but see, she told us they would call us to schedule for my CT scan. They never called us, guys. My mom actually called on November 24th. And I know you guys are like, why is your mom scheduling for her? I tried to be the one to do everything, guys, okay? I tried. But they were not taking me seriously because I look like I'm 12. She got the appointment for me on the 30th. On November 23rd, I wrote in my notes, I felt like I was gonna pass out. We were at home and the room started spinning so fast. Like at this point, everything got worse, but my stomach did stop with the that the ER doctor gave, so he wasn't totally useless. And you know, when everything stopped and everything became normal with my stomach, toilet wise, I thought all of the other symptoms would stop too. like the pains, the nausea, the dizziness, it didn't. I was still tired. I did gain a bit more energy because obviously I was more hydrated, but it was still, I was still sleeping a lot at this point. So the CT scan, by the way, they had me prepay for it, and it's $2,358.85. Those, oh my god, guys, that's so much money. That's so much money. That's good at this point, because at this point I had been sending Gouda all of my bills, and at this point they had already paid for 2 of the medicines that I got, the antibiotics and the I was a bit afraid at this point that they wouldn't pay for it, because I was like, this is so much money, and I was afraid they wouldn't pay for it. But oh my god, they came through. I went to the CT scan and I got the sweetest nurse. My mom was able to come in with me too. And also, let me say, prior to this, the day before and the day off, I had to drink this horrible thing. Let me show you a video of me drinking it. That was horrible. It tasted like berry, but then also like mucus. It was like milky and chalky, and thought I was gonna throw up. The nurse I got was so sweet though, the one who put in the needle, syringe, butterfly thing. He couldn't find a vein either. It took him some time. I actually have footage of it because my mom was able to go there, and it was so funny. They knew my age. They knew I was 27. But they kept treating me like I was 12 because they couldn't find my veins, and apparently it's harder to find veins in kids. And I suggested putting on a hot compress because that's what they did at the ER. And so he got a hot compress because he was like digging for the vein, and it hurt, guys, but I didn't say anything. And another doctor came out and he was like talking to the nurse, and he said, oh, you know, when I was working at pediatrics at the children's hospital, it was so hard to find veins. It was so funny to me because they really thought I was 12. But yeah, they were very nice. I went into the CT room, guys, and oh my god, that was the coolest experience. I felt I was getting into a spaceship. They had me lay down on the spaceship, basically. So comfortable, by the way. If you're gonna get the CT scan, do not have to worry about it. It's not scary at all, really. It's not claustrophobic because they have you lay in there, and then you go into the machine, and the machine talks to you, and it's like, stop breathing, breathe in, breathe out. And then they had a contrast. They put in the thing I drank, guys, that was a type of contrast, and then they injected me with another contrast to light up my veins and stuff. And he warned me that I would feel very warm when he would inject that, and oh my god, it was so right. I could feel the warmth in my face, in my body, and mostly in my lady parts and my butt. Like, it felt so warm. My mom said she felt like she peed her pants or pooped her pants. I didn't feel that. It felt warm. They gave me the results back, and they didn't find anything except for the for the liver cyst. And I actually have footage I can put right here of my insides, also of my ultrasound, which I probably have already showed you guys. I asked for a CD for my insurance, but also for me. You can ask for a CD because if you guys didn't know, you have the right to retrieve your medical information like that. You have the right to retrieve scans. It's your property. They have the right to keep a copy, but you have the right to ask for it, and they cannot say no. The only thing they found was this the cyst on my liver, and it was cool because I found out how big it is, and it's 1.3 centimeters big on my upper right. So it's somewhere down up here, like it's somewhere down here. Upper, it's like, yeah, your liver is right here. It's quite big actually, your liver, and so the cyst is right here. And so it's interesting, quite nice finding out the exact spot, because that's where I've been feeling a lot of the pain. So at least like, even though they didn't verify that, in my mind that's like, okay, so it's probably because of the cyst. That's probably why I felt the pain, because it's exactly the same spot. They found fluid in my endometrial canal, but they didn't think anything of that. I googled it and it seems fine. That brings us to present time. Very anticlimactic, I know, because we don't have a diagnosis. There is nothing I can give to you guys. The only thing I can do right now is fighting the symptoms. Yesterday, I think it was, Mama called the walk-in clinic and she was like, yo, she's still nauseous. She's still not feeling better. And the NP, by the way, I forgot to tell you that the last NP I went to, the one who ordered the CT scan, she told me she would give me a prescription for an anti-nausea that doesn't have neurological side effects like Zofran. And I got the meds and it's freaking Zofran. When my mom was sick, I got, they put all of your information, by the way, on these bottles. These bottles, it's something you only see on TV if you're European. You don't get these in Europe, at least not in Denmark, because in Denmark you get the actual bottle. You don't get like these bottles where they take the medicine and put it in a different bottle with the exact amount. In Denmark you get these, you know, straight away, or in capsules, what do you call these, in bottles. But the bottles aren't like, they're not like these ones where they have to, you know, those videos on TikTok, those ASMR videos where they put at the pharmacy where they put the pills on the tray, and they don't do that in Denmark. It's all like robots who do it. I took this Zofran, my mom's Zofran, which is the tablet version, and apparently the NP thought, maybe I give her the ODT version of Zofran, which ODT, guys, I thought it meant on the tongue. It actually means orally disintegrating tablet, but she gave me the same freaking thing in a bigger bottle, except this one melts on your tongue. It's still Zofran. She said she would give me something else, but I still took it because I was like, maybe it will give me relief. It did give me relief for the nausea. I don't think it's worth it because the side effects are so bad, like headaches, and you get so tired and delirious. And I'm only gonna take it if I really have to. So I've just been treating the symptoms, I guess. So we turn to Vicks instead. Vicks has been my lifesaver. I've been using this so much on my forehead. I feel like actually it has been able to clear up my oh, it smells so good. It's been able to clear up my acne, like right here. Also, I am very prone to ear infections, and I was thinking throughout all of this, maybe it's my ear. So I've been taking this a lot, Zaxol, which I brought all the way from Denmark, but I don't have any of the symptoms of the ear infection because that's constant. But this what I have now is, it gets worse after eating and while walking. I've been eating lots of, you know, menthol, cough drops, peppermint oil for my face because the headache was so bad. Apparently that helps. Then we ordered on Amazon. Where is it? If the doctors aren't gonna do anything, Amazon will have to help me instead. And so I got this tummy drops, which I definitely highly recommend, guys. If you guys are nauseous, try these out. They will give you relief straight away, but as soon as you're done with it, once it's fully melted, it stops working. And then we also got these Preggy drops. It's for pregnant people, guys. You know, I'm not pregnant, but these don't do anything. But maybe it's because I'm not pregnant, I don't know. But they're yummy, so you know, there's that. Dramamine. And I got the non-drowsy version. Didn't do anything for me. It gave me the worst heartburn. It actually made me sleepy still, and a really bad headache. I would not recommend Dramamine. Then something that has helped me a lot are these acupuncture points. And I know this is not like something, not medicine, but what do you do when medicine won't help you? You turn to other things, because you have to, like, you can't just give up, you know. So I got these, and these are the only things that have saved me, really, you know. And I'm sorry I don't have any fun diagnosis to tell you guys. So what will happen now is, when I get back to Denmark on January the 19th, I will just have to go to my own doctor, unless maybe by that time maybe everything's gone, maybe I don't have any issues anymore. But because of the liver cyst, I have to get that checked yearly now, so they will have to do another ultrasound, but that will be in Denmark. So right now I don't even know, I can't even like guess what this is. A lot of people I've read got negative results back, but then they got CT scans and ultrasounds, and the doctor would be like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. They do a specific blood test, or they repeat an ultrasound or the CT scan, and then finally like they found like gallbladder stones or whatever else that's wrong with them. Some people are saying maybe it's just stress, maybe it's anxiety. Guys, I'm not that anxious of a person to get this sick. I am an anxious person, but I'm not anxious like 24/7. I'm not anxious at this moment, so it's not like, it's not that bad. Like, it's not, my anxiety is not that bad for me to get this sick, you know. And I'm not stressed out, nothing. It's not because of some mental thing. I definitely feel like it's something else, but I just don't know what. I just have to be a bit more on the careful side, like moving and stuff, because I keep on almost like every time I hold on to plates, I keep on almost dropping them. So that was my experience with, as a European, going to the ER and hospital here. Overall, I don't hate the system, guys, but I would say it's a bit flawed, especially when it comes to tourists. I definitely feel like there could be an improvement with the healthcare system here when it comes to tourists. I don't feel like they take care of us that well, and I'm not just speaking for myself. I know a lot of people who have had a similar experience, especially people who don't have travel insurance. Oh my god, guys, I cannot emphasize this enough. You have to get travel insurance if you go into the US, because you're gonna get bankrupt. All of this is gonna be more than $10,000. Like, most places in Europe have free health insurance, or I mean, it's all in the taxes, but it's still free. We like, basically, I know a lot of people say, oh, it's in the taxes, but in a way it's because we're all paying for one another. Like, it's like we're taking care of one another. Here you're on your own. So yeah, I do miss that, the free healthcare, going to the doctor, not having to think about the money part of it, because if you're sick, you don't want to have to think about the financial things. I hope you guys are having a great day. Go to my Instagram if you want to, you know, get more information. I'm starting to get more pale, so it's time for me to go. Thank you for watching. If you made it all the way through here, go to the comments and put a poop emoji. So thank you for watching, guys. Adios, amigos. Subscribe. Ooh.
My favorite color is red.